Faith is the fire that burns within us, even when darkness feels overwhelming. It's what makes us rise when the weight of the world tries to hold us down. Faith is not just a word, it's a living force that connects us to the impossible and creates paths where there are none. Miracles aren't just tales from the past, they are alive, waiting to unfold in our lives. When we trust, God moves heaven and earth to show us that He never abandons us. He turns tears into joy, weakness into strength, and doubts into unwavering hope. That dream that feels out of reach. That silent prayer whispered with a heart on the verge of breaking. God heard it. And when faith meets His power, the extraordinary happens. Doors open where walls once stood, and the impossible becomes a reality before your eyes. Hold on tight. Even if the waves are high, the God who calms the storms is in control. Miracles begin with a step of faith, with a prayer offered from the depths of the soul. He is capable of doing infinitely more than we can ask or imagine. Today, dare to believe. God not only has a plan for you, but He's also preparing the moment when you'll say, "It was a miracle." Don't give up, for the power of faith can transform your life in ways you can't even dream of. There are moments in life when we are pushed to our limits, situations where everything around us seems to fall apart, and every step forward feels impossible. In those times, our hearts fill with doubt, and our minds whisper that there's no way out. It was in one of these moments that something extraordinary happened, something that completely transformed my view of life and renewed my faith in God. This story is not just about an event that defies human logic, but about the power of love and divine presence in the midst of the most difficult circumstances. In the depths of my pain, when I thought I was alone, I realized that God was with me all along, working in ways I could never have imagined. It's important to say that this was not a miracle that happened out of nowhere. It was born from a broken heart, sincere tears, and a faith that, though shaken, did not extinguish. Many times, we believe that God is silent, but He is working behind the scenes, preparing something far greater than we can understand. As I share this moment from my life, my hope is that you, who may be facing your own battles, find a thread of hope here. God is an expert at turning situations that seem like the end into a new beginning filled with purpose. And so, with a heart full of gratitude, I invite you to hear the story of the miracle that changed my life. It all started during one of the most difficult times in my life. I was going through a phase where it seemed like nothing was going right. It wasn't just one challenge, but a series of them: financial struggles, strained relationships, deteriorating health. Every day felt like a constant battle, and the sense of helplessness grew stronger. I was exhausted, both physically and emotionally. I found myself in a place where words of hope no longer had any effect. The prayers I said seemed to echo into the void. I tried to believe things would get better, but honestly, I started to lose faith. It became a vicious cycle of trying to move forward, but feeling like I was sinking deeper with every step. Anxiety consumed me, and the feeling that the world was crashing down on me grew stronger. I didn't know where to turn. My friends, my family, everyone was so caught up in their own lives that it felt like I was facing everything alone. Then, one of those desperate days, something inside me shifted. I was sitting on the couch, my mind filled with confusing thoughts and my heart weighed down by so much anguish. I didn't know what else to do, but something made me pray. Not a formal prayer, but a raw, honest outpouring from someone who had no strength left, a sincere cry that came from the deepest part of my soul. I didn't expect an immediate response or a miraculous intervention, but in that moment, something in my heart calmed. It wasn't a clear answer or a supernatural feeling, but a quiet peace that, for some reason, made me believe I wasn't alone anymore. It felt like, somehow, something was being worked on that I didn't yet understand. It was after that prayer, when I thought nothing more could be done, that things started to change, slowly, but in such an unexpected way that it made me question everything I had lived up until that point. The journey had just begun, but I already felt that a miracle was on its way. After that moment of prayer, things began to change, but in such subtle ways that, at first, I didn't notice. It wasn't like a magical solution to all my problems, but small changes started to unfold. The first sign was an unexpected job opportunity that appeared, something that seemed impossible in my situation. I didn't have many contacts, and the market was saturated, but somehow, something pushed me toward that door. I also began to notice that the people around me started to behave differently, more willing to offer their support. Old friends reached out, offering words of encouragement and even financial help, something I never asked for. Things started to align in a way that didn't feel like a coincidence. Each act of kindness, every small gesture of support made me feel like something greater was at work. Over time, the anxiety that had tormented me for so long began to lessen. It didn't happen overnight, but gradually, I started to feel a relief, as if a weight had been lifted off my shoulders. I began to believe once again that things could get better, that, yes, I was being guided by something bigger than myself. But the greatest miracle was still to come. It was when the most serious issue I was facing, the one that caused me the most pain and fear, started to be resolved. I was dealing with a complicated medical diagnosis, something that paralyzed me with dread. I went to many doctors, had countless tests, and with each negative result, my hope seemed to fade. But something inside me, a small flame of faith, urged me to keep fighting. Then, when I returned to a specialist, something surprising happened. The diagnosis was reevaluated, and, to my disbelief, what seemed to be a serious illness was no longer present. The doctors were just as shocked as I was. There was no logical explanation for it. It was a miracle. When all of this happened, I realized that God had been working in every detail of my life, even when I couldn't see or understand it. The doors opened one by one, people showed up, my health was restored, and all of this led to a profound spiritual renewal. Looking back today, I see that it wasn't just a miracle, but a process of transformation. The miracle was the beginning, but what truly changed was my heart, my perspective on life, and my faith. I learned to trust, even when everything seems lost, and to believe that, in the end, God is in control of all things. And so, from a moment of despair, came a testimony of faith and hope. God didn't just restore my life, He taught me that we should never lose faith in His power, because He always has a purpose, even in the hardest of times. Today, as I look back and reflect on everything I've been through, I realize that the miracle I experienced wasn't just the solution to a problem, but a profound transformation that touched my soul and renewed my spirit in ways words cannot express. What seemed like the end of everything, the storm I thought would never pass, turned into a new journey of faith, courage, and hope. God didn't just answer my prayers, He revealed a strength within me that I didn't even know I had. In every moment of despair, He was with me, often in a quiet way, but always present. He didn't just change my circumstances, but more importantly, He transformed my heart. The faith that once felt fragile is now an intense flame that guides me and keeps me strong, even through the darkest nights. The miracle was more than just a healing or an immediate answer. It was the understanding that, even when it seemed there was no way out, God was preparing something extraordinary. He was shaping my character, teaching me to trust, to wait, and to believe, even when logic said otherwise. Every step of this journey was a lesson in faith and surrender, and in the end, I realized that the greatest miracle wasn't what happened around me, but what happened within me. The true message I carry with me now is that, even in the darkest moments, God's presence never abandons us. He is always working, even when we can't see it, even when pain blinds us. He never leaves us alone. And when we least expect it, He surprises us in ways we couldn't imagine, showing us that, for Him, nothing is impossible. I share this story not only as a personal testimony but as a message of hope for all who are fighting their own battles. If you're going through a moment of pain, if doubt is stealing your peace, know that God is by your side. He sees your struggle, He knows your heart, and He has the power to transform any situation. Never lose hope, because with Him, the impossible becomes possible.
When silence roared and hope seemed gone, I felt so weak, I couldn't go on. Fell to the ground, too lost to stand. But then I felt His gentle hand. In the stillness, His voice was clear. a love so strong it calmed my fear. Through my tears I found His care. Even in sorrow, God was there. When I cried, He dried my tears, turned my pain to peace through the years. Every tear fell into His palm. He gave me strength, He made me calm. Oh, when I cried, God was there. The darkest nights He lit with grace. I felt His arms, a warm embrace. Each broken prayer, He heard it all. It caught me when I feared I'd fall. Through the stillness, He led the way, a guiding light to a brighter day. In the valley, I felt His care. Even in shadows, God was there. When I cried, He dried my tears, turned my pain to peace through the years. Every tear fell into His palm. He gave me strength, He made me calm. Oh, when I cried, God was there. Now I see His love's my shield. Through every wound, my heart is healed. The stars are carried, they now declare I am His child and He's always there. When I cried, He dried my tears, turned my pain to peace through the years. Every tear fell into His palm. He gave me strength, He made me calm. Yes, when I cried, God was there. And now I sing with a heart set free, for His great love has rescued me. When I cried, God was there.
The story of how God can perform miracles in our lives teaches us that, even when the journey seems tough, when difficulties surround us, and the impossible stands before us, God is always present, ready to act. When we trust in Him, when we have faith in His power, anything is possible. Remember, with God, mountains become small, and barriers are broken. Now, we want to hear from you. Share with us in the comments your testimony, your miracle, the way God has shown His presence in your life. It doesn't matter how big or small your story is, it can be a beacon of light for someone who needs hope. It could be something big or something simple, but that made all the difference. Your experience of faith could be exactly what someone else needs to hear to renew their hope. If this message touched your heart, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to our channel. That way, you won't miss any content we've prepared with so much care to strengthen your faith and bring words of inspiration. And please, share with your friends and family. Together, we can spread the message that with God, everything is possible, and He is the same yesterday, today, and forever. May God greatly bless your life, and may you continue to witness His miracles every day. Let's walk together, spreading His light and love to everyone around us.